Welcome, everyone. I want to take you on a healing journey of my new show called The Valley. The Valley is a sunken mindset that affects/effects an individual emotionally, physically, psychologically, and spiritually. Being in the valley can affect how a person sees themselves, how they see the world. Feeling safe and seen is something I've always struggled with, so I wanted to create an environment/platform where all people could feel safe and feel seen. The objective is to come out of the valley, but not without doing the work. You have to fight for it. What choice will you choose when freedom is on the other side awaiting you?
You know, it's so crazy, even when you talk about addiction and stuff, I think about somebody when I was in therapy. You know, I had to go to counseling after my best friend Yak died.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship that didn't work. I was in therapy and I realized, like, they was telling me that I was so codependent upon Yak and that I also needed help. You get what I mean? And I'm like, wow, like,
yes.
That's so deep how you could be so
enabling and codependent to that process. The first thing people ask me now, you know, so you guys know I have a company called Recovery's Essential, and we create safe spaces for people in recovery and for those who support those of us in recovery. I get a call. So, Stephanie, I need you to help my family member. You know what the first reply I give them is this: where's your help? Are you getting help? Well, I don't need no help. Yes, you do. How long has this person been going through this? Well, they've been doing this, that. Well, guess what? As I am going to work with the person you're giving me, because I do protect the anonymity of everyone that I work with. However, when I'm working with family and friends who gives me the opportunity, the first thing I say is you got to go get your help, because I will not send this person back to a sick system. Your enabling is causing this person to be who they are too.
Wow, Jesus.
And we don't want to take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
Because we're always, see, this is something, and if I could put my minister hat on, we think we're gods. We think we can control situations. And when God says surrender your will, he means that. It's the same over here. Surrender that will. You're not perfect. We're not perfect. So we think, oh, I got to control this. How can you control that when you can't even control yourself? But you're using that person to deflect off on them what you probably need to get help in. So this person can't handle it. So they're trying to please you and they can't please you. So not knowing that they have a brain disorder. So it begins a nasty, insidious recycling of, I can't even think of the word right now, but you know, it's just sad. It's and it continues on and on and on. Well, so-and-so, you know, they just don't, you know, and then we come out when we talked about this earlier, you know, oh, you see so-and-so, she a crackhead. You see so-and-so, she a dope fiend, or he, and I'm saying she because I identify as she. But I'm thinking to myself, well, we're not thinking that that person has a disorder. And this has been generational. This hasn't, because it has been no help. We're going back to the moonshine days, the coping, you know. Alcohol was made legal because everybody in society right now is drunk. So they had to figure out a way, how can they control it?
Right.
Marijuana the same way. You're not going to control a disease that you have not been able to identify properly yet. You can't.
Wow.
We just getting to the point where we're learning about cancer, diabetes. We haven't gotten here yet, but we need to have conversations like this to begin to talk about it, because our children, and I'm going to speak emphatically about the African American community because I am a black woman. Yes, I love all my others. Don't get me wrong. People say, you know, you anti, no. Society has already been anti-black. I'm going to be pro-black. I've come from a society where we have not been seen properly across the board because of our ancestral identity here as enslaved people under the institution of slavery. So when it comes to health, when it comes to economics, when it comes to relation, all of the components of our community, we have been subject to live in vile environments, been economically disenfranchised. We have not had the ability, but we have been the builders of this society. But our brains have been subject to be powered by others. So now I want to change that whole narrative, and I'm doing it by way of there is something called a disease of addictions, and we need to change the narrative. We need to create safe spaces so that people can have an opportunity to be able to speak about it, so they can get the coping mechanisms that they need, so that they can be productive citizens within this society. You know, when Nixon, we're going back to Nixon, declared the war on drugs, and Reagan followed up with it more continuously, it became a war on black and brown communities. We ain't got no, y'all ain't got no way to do all of this big movement. So being that our communities were disenfranchised economically and there was no jobs, this was the only form of employment for some. And because we live in a materialistic society, everybody always look at the other, thinks the grass is greener on the other side. So they begin to think, well, I need money to do this. I need money to look like this. I will be accepted if I'm looking like this, not knowing, no, let's change all of that. Let's get out of that. Let's get out of the, like, you know, the fake suits and the fake this and all that. Let's begin to really look at this. Why are we drinking? Are we drinking socially or recreationally? Why are we? We have a lot of functioning addicts that are happening, and that has not been identified. But yes, definitely gonna talk about it, because I'm speaking about me.
Yes.
You know? So Recovery's Essential is here just for that. We're gonna open up the dialogue to change the narrative so that we can create safe spaces. I have 6 grandchildren. I don't want them to ever to go through what I went through. But if I open up the portal for them to be able to identify with something, maybe they have a greater chance of getting help. Because now it's not just one person going through it, it's a whole family saying, you know what, there's some issues here. Let's talk about the elephant in the room now. Matter of fact, let's begin to break it down so that we can make sure that we don't create this edifice that we cannot deal with.
That's good.
You know, so.
That's so true. For anybody that's watching or that will be watching, what do you say to someone that's struggling with addiction, who feels like, I really want to change, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's whatever it is? I don't think I could do it. I don't think I'm strong enough. I think I'm gonna die in this. I want to really get out, but I don't know how to do it.
I'm gonna say this. One, you're not strong enough. You're not strong enough. And right there, by me saying that, I know right now I just felt something just breaking somebody. I just felt something just broken somebody. No, you're not strong enough. You need something greater than you. You need help. You need a community of help. If you have 1 ounce in you to pick up the phone, reach out to a friend, and say to someone, I need help. You can even go on my Facebook page and say, I need to find out what Recovery's Essential is all about, because all our information is on there. And we can be found. Help can be found. Yeah. And it's so significant. But I have to, what you just say, no, you're not strong enough. You're not strong enough. You need help. And if you have the ability right now to pick up the phone, to even just whisper, I need help, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And that small step right there can open up the door of love. Because love is, it's amazing.
Yeah. And it's okay to not be okay.
Yes,
and it's okay
is.
to ask for help.
Yes.
You get what I mean? And I loved what you were talking about, is just far as like, I just feel like it's humanizing people.
Yes.
You get what I mean? And not, oh, that crackhead, that. No, this is somebody's mother.
Yes.
This is somebody's
child, some sister, uncle. You know, when you guys were little, when I lived on Brunswick Avenue, and a lot of people know me from there, right? We used to have this bar called a C-bar, and we called them the C-bar bums. Forgive me, that was not the right thing to do. It wasn't. It's stuff like that I went through, Richard, to say, like, no, these were men who literally did not have a coping mechanism. What was going on in their lives that they had to drink? You know?
Yeah.
What was going on that they had this place that they can go and just wallow all their drama? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, where are the safe spaces that people can go to and feel comfortable and feel okay just for a minute, that they can get some help, where they can get back to being productive, not just for themselves, but for their children, their family, their neighborhood, and their communities. Just think, if we got one block like that, especially in the city of Trenton, man, and it won't be, oh, these people coming in to do this. No, it's us, helping us to build us, to create that road for our own children. It's nothing wrong with our children going to school. It's nothing wrong with our children feeling like scientists and engineers and planners and architects. It's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, I know we got our music. Everybody want to blame it on me. No. Those are just activities. Okay, just like anything else. But now let's get back to us. Let's begin to build us in a way that we create a future for ourselves. I wish our elders do, you know, our slave ancestors did that. But for some reason, for some reason, at some point in time, we dropped the ball. And I think we're picking it back up again. We're picking up with young people like you.
Praise God.
You're my daughter. You know, it's picking it up and saying, look, we're dying out here and we got to do something. And what is that something? Recreating the narrative. Let's tell the story for what it is now. Let's begin to say, you know, I'm in a valley situation. And what does that valley situation look like? Yesterday, I just celebrated my fiance, I still call him my husband, his birthday, who died in this situation.
Wow.
Yes.
How were you able, you know, because I met him. I think this was, I don't know if Yak had just passed. I know it was Aunt Venus. She had just got married.
Yeah, Aunt Venus
and
just
at that time, I didn't see you for a long time.
Right, and then I saw you was like, he was with me. And
he was with you, and y'all was so happy. And it was just like, I was so happy for you.
Oh my God.
So I thought y'all was going to get married. You get what I mean? What was that like? Because that's the other part when we were talking about relationships and trauma bonding. What was that like to get the phone call that someone that you love and that you still love, you know, had lost their battle to addiction? Because I'm pretty sure you wanted to see him. Free
we were going to do this together. We were doing Recovery Central together.
You guys were.
Yeah, we were doing the whole thing together.
Yes.
I was angry. I was so mad. I'm still mad. I'm still mad. I'm still mad because, again, his environment. We got to create environments that are not going to subject them or anyone in it to think it's okay. People ask me, Stephanie, how long did you stay clean? I'll be 30 years this year. Right. November, the first Saturday in November, I'll be 30 years clear. You know what I mean? But doesn't mean that I'm still a woman with substance use disorder. I'm just a woman in long-term recovery. 30 years, the first Saturday in November. My community began to accept me for being a sober person versus a person of use. And his community wasn't quite there yet. And that's what we have to begin to change. And yes, I got very angry. I got so angry because people were making excuses for him. Even though we weren't physically together, because he relapsed right after my daughter got married. And we had to separate because there's something within the fellowship they'll tell you, you have to immediately separate because he'll get you to using before you get him to get clean. And I was at that point, so I ran back to recovery. Right when we were going through it, I went back to an NA meeting. I went straight back and I got involved with the women in that group and everything. And they are now my best friends. Like, I love them to death. I had to go back into recovery. It doesn't stop because I was getting pulled. So sometimes you'll see a couple out using together. That trauma bonding that's happening, it's very hard to separate. So while he was going out there, he almost had me. I had to separate. The love that I loved him. I wanted to be with him, but I had to separate because my sobriety came first. I was selfish. My sobriety had to come first.
Wow.
And so even in his use, we were conversating. He would tell me, you know, I'm coming home, and I'm like, oh, you ain't coming back here, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? No. But in my heart, I knew that if he got clean, yes, I will make him my husband. I knew it. But I felt like God made an escape for me. It sounds cruel to some people, but I do believe that God took his misery because he was miserable. I believe that God made an escape for me because I was not leaving him. I was not leaving him. And I'm very, very honest. And I think, again, I had to be saved, you know, and so I took my will and I took it back to God. I'm like, oh wait, God, no weapon formed. There should be no other God but you.
Yeah.
I had to separate that, and it was hard for both of us.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me; it was him also. It was a choice.
What would you say to anybody out there who gets the strength to move forward, and then something happens and they blaming themselves? Because I know for me, and the situation is different, but after Yak died, there were so many years that I don't want to say wasted, but I had blamed myself. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I should have answered when he reached out. You get what I mean? And one thing that you're saying that to me, that I connect with is, for me, I felt like God was separating me and my best friend because that was something that I needed to birth.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and not only birth, you need something actually to separate you. Sometimes God said that you have to come out and be separate. You do. And it has nothing to do with the person that you're in love with. It has everything to do with who you're serving.
Yeah.
You can't serve two masters. You're either going to love one or hate the other. And that's real for me because I do choose Christ as my higher power. But if you look at it across the board for all higher powers, they say similar attributes, or they bring similar attributes that you're either going to love one or hate the other. So you make a choice. And where's your will? And that's where 12 steps come in for me. I had to surrender my will. And so in that, you have to surrender your will. Who you choose. You choose me or ain't. One good thing about our God that we serve, he's sovereign. He's going to let you choose who you want to. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, that free will.
That free will. He lets you choose who you want to.
Yeah.
But in that, he will turn you over even to yourself, and you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
If you want him, he's still available. He's still available even when I was laying on that cold floor on that Saturday morning. He said, who you going to choose, Stephanie? It's going to be me, or you going to go get high? It's always constant with that. It's no one and done with him, with God. It's always kind. You going to choose him or you going to choose me? So I choose God. Even in my sin, I choose God. Even in my mess, I choose God. And that's the choice that I make because the years have not been easy of staying clean and sober, be of sober mind, because I cannot use and still not have a sober mind. Right. Think about it. Yeah. So that was a journey. I would not been able to sit here and expose who I am with you if I wasn't sober.
Right.
I'm not as easily triggered as I was, believe it or not, 15 years ago. It's still a process. Yeah. So when I'm saying to all of all of us who are in relationship, don't beat yourself up too bad, but deal with it. Yeah. Deal with it. Sit in it. Talk to yourself about it. You may have to cuss yourself out. You may have to yo, that was not good. Yeah. Do it. And at the end of that, say sorry to yourself. I'm sorry. Yeah. Forgive me. And that's something we don't do well because I ain't got to say sorry to nobody. I'm always saying sorry. Oh, I apologize for that. And sometimes I get prideful and say, I'm not saying that. But then guess who I deal with? He will grieve your heart. The Holy Spirit will grieve your heart. Go in my heart and be like, oh, I got to go back now. Now I got to go back and say something. Yeah. So for those of us who are still going through that, deal with it. Don't walk in denial, because when you walk in denial, you're only lying to yourself. I tell my children this all the time, Richard. They're like, I'm moving. Where you moving to? Well, you can't run from yourself. That's one thing you can't do.
You can't run from yourself. Everywhere you go, you're going to take you. Right. What would you tell the 11-year-old self? Like, what would you tell her?
Oh my God. If I have written so many letters to her. I've written letters to her. Everything that comes back to me, I'll write her a letter. One, I always say again, please forgive me. And I hope that you feel the hope I have for you today. And I believe that's what keeps me going. So even for my babies, my children who are going through this, I hope that you can hope in yourself, even in the midst of what you're going through, that you a glimmer of hope. Because faith is kind of hard to get to. I mean, I'm talking, but I know you know the word hope. Hope is real. Hope becomes like, it becomes a yeah.
We need that hope.
Yeah, we need,
Yeah, we
and throw expectations out the window. Throw it out the window. I know we have great expectations, but in that expectations, where's that greatness coming from? If it's coming from yourself, get rid of it. If it's not coming from your higher power, no, you don't have to expect. Your expectation is that.
How important was your faith in this? Like, I always tell people on my show, The Valley, God met me in the valley. You know what I mean? So if God is the God of the mountaintop, surely God is
surely.
in the valley.
Let's talk about David. Let's talk about David, the one who God favored, right? In hell, he lay his bed, God is there. And here on earth, he is here. When I attain my thoughts there, he is there. So it's nowhere I can go, Richard, today that he is not. My God is not with me. Like I said, even in my sin, like now I'm talking about this deficit I'm in, he's even in my deficit. That's how strong I know my faith is.
Amazing.
My faith is in that point where he's giving me some good tools now. Don't get it wrong, Mama can get some stuff done. But it's gotten to the point now where I know he's amazing. He's just, okay, he got it.
You talked about when you were younger, how you grew up in church and all of that. Was there a difference between, because I hear people say all the time, like, I grew up in church and then something happened in their life and they like, but now I really have a true relationship with him. I didn't have I thought I had a relationship with God, but I realized, like, no, like, I have a relationship now. Was there a difference between maybe just going through the customs of going to church when you was younger and maybe not really having a relationship with the Father versus when you got older and you were going through where you knew Jesus for yourself?
Definitely. I mean, we grow up, right? We go through the rituals and the traditions of church, right? Going through this head knowledge. I grew up a Seventh-day Adventist, so I learned all Bible stuff, right?
Yeah.
However, when I had that incident, I did not have a relationship with Christ. I did not have it. I knew him, had knowledge, but I didn't know him until recently, until pretty much the last 30 years.
Wow. Amazing.
So,
where do you see with your business? Where do you see it going?
oh my God, we're global.
Yes.
I'm global. I'm going global because, again, the disease of addictions does not exempt no one, no place, no geographical area, no demographic. It doesn't exempt. So RIE, Recovery is Essential, is a brand with a cause. We're going global. We're going all over the world. My whole hope is to have this type of conversations everywhere I go while we sell this brand. This brand is T-shirts, hats. I'm creating pocketbooks, jewelry, all of that.
I love it.
Yes, because again, a part of this whole branding is we're developing this Robin Hood effect where we are developing a charity where portions of the funds go into a pot and we give to community groups that are doing positive things for children.
Yeah.
Because this society set it up, you got to learn all this stuff to just to become a 501c3 or what have you. And I'm thinking, why don't we just give money? Why don't we just give money to grassroots organizations that are doing positive things for children and don't have the income? Maybe that seed money will help jumpstart the 501c3 or the 504, the 4 whatever numbers there is, whatever, for the next ones, whatever, or 415B3 or whatever. However, maybe that money can help jump that, or it can help buy uniforms or something like that. People say, well, Stephanie, they might take the money and do this, that, and the other. And I'm looking at them, y'all don't know who I am, do you? Because honestly, once I give it, it's not my responsibility. My responsibility in which I'm to give. And God does bless a cheerful giver. So we develop what we call a Robin Hood Fund. We are on Facebook and Instagram and X now. We used to be Twitter. We are actually on there, and I'm asking for everyone to actually give to that because we do like to give. I am not a nonprofit. I'm that type of group. I'm just a sole proprietorship and LLC.
Wow, I love it. Is there anything that, because we're coming to a close, like,
Amen.
Is there anything that, again, that you feel on your heart and your spirit to say anything? Also, I would love for you to tell them your social medias. That way they can reach you. I know this conversation has been very insightful for me. I'm learning. I'm like, we need to do a part two already.
We can do part two.
Definitely, yes. Because like I think everybody deal with their own addictions in their own way, and I really feel like I said, this conversation was very informative about changing the narrative, having these conversations. Do any, it could be anything that you might just feel in your heart, to say or speak, and just.
Well, I do want to say this: those who are seeking for help or have it, because I got to give you my phone number, and it's a text line, because we want to make sure that people understand that you are protected through anonymity. And I'm going to give you this number to reach Recovery is Essential, 609-516-2132. That's my text line, 609-516-2132. And we are Recovery is Essential. Essential is greater than importance. It is the life. Recovery is the life. It is, like I said, it's much more important than just being important. It's essential. It is your life. And those of you who have protected the anonymity of the fellowship and of others, we respect you, we love you, but now we are beginning to live our recovery out loud, because we are sick as our secrets. And we need to expose this disease for what it is so that we can begin to treat it properly. This disease of substance use disorder must be eliminated in our society, because our children are dying more and more. And there's another whole side of this too. Treatment, pathways to recovery, wraparound services, and how do we actually begin to look at that and what is available. You saw me, all this just came from Washington, D.C. with Mobilized Recovery. A whole big scene out there, and Recovery is Essential was asked to be a part of that, which was very special. So I got to sit with the director of SAMHSA. I got to sit with Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff. I got to speak to Chris Thatcher with the Clinton Foundation. So we are looking at ways how we can begin to ingrain what we're doing in policy. Policy needs to be a part of this process.
Yes.
So yes, it's a whole nother advocacy and organizing effort that's going on over here, and we're campaigning in that effort, but we still have to get the work done over on this side too.
I love that. I wanted to say a couple of things. I still got to do the hill work as we close. I wanted to say, anybody out there, I want to let you know that you still have worth. You get what I mean? Our worth is not in ourselves, but our worth is, we found our worth in God. I think like what my aunt was talking about, where there's so many people where we're calling names and we're not even understanding what people have gone through in their lives. I want to let you know that you have worth in God. You get what I mean? That you're not your mistake. You're not even who you think yourself to be. There's still a whole different version of who you are.
Amen.
So I want to let you know that. I also wanted to say, keep going. I had a thought, y'all, but I didn't forgot. I had this good message in my mind that I was going to end it off with, but I didn't forgot, y'all. But I just wanted to let y'all know that, you're not your mistakes.
Amen.
You get what I mean? So I do hill work / heart work. I had all this list of stuff that I wanted to say that I couldn't find it. But one of the things I wanted to say is just keep doing you.
Amen.
You get what I'm saying? Keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, is very informative. And just sitting here with you, it makes me realize even more why this podcast is so important, because I never wanted to do a podcast, and I was telling my viewers all I wanted to do was just act, and it's just like, as me just doing what I believe God wanted me to do, as well as myself. He just led me to a book and all of these other things, and it's just I just want God truly to get the glory out of my life. I know what I wanted to say, y'all, and then we about to end it. I want to tell everybody this. Listen, the importance of life is not just the day that we are born and the day that we die. The importance is what we do in the dash.
Amen.
You get what I mean? So ask yourself, are you living on purpose? Are you doing the things that God is calling you to do? Because life will come and it could distract you from doing what he's calling you to do. So ask yourself, are you living on purpose? Are you doing the things that you believe God is calling you to do? Because in you, every one of us have seeds, and then those seeds can produce a tree with fruit, that bears. So it's time to get to work. So I have something for you. I like to give my guests something. Sometimes I give them something. Sometimes I like to give them their flowers. Oh. You get what I mean?
Can I interject something though real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you said the life, in that dash. And in that dash, if you know there's something going on in your life, just know that you can call out for help. There's nothing wrong with that. You can get help. I just want to say that.
Yeah, I love that. Definitely. Like, you still got purpose. So normally, sometimes or whatever, I give them something, or sometimes it might be just, I don't know, we might take a walk, depending on, I pull it out the side. You never know what's in here. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to give you this. You can open it up if you want.
Oh, yes. You know, I love gifts. I'm like, oh my God, I'm one of those people, honey. I can't. Oh, that's why my kids don't surprise me. They be like, Mom, real? I'm like, oh, what is this, Richard? It's giving me a hard time.
Let me try
honey. Oh my God. Oh, this is beautiful. Jeremiah 31:3 every day. Oh, it's several scriptures. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Every day, God thinks of you. Psalms 139:17. Every hour, God looks after you. 2 Thessalonians 3:3. Every minute, God cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. Because every second, He loves you. This encompasses our whole conversation. This encompasses our whole conversation that we had.
Okay.
Oh my God. Thank you.
God is good. God knows. So listen, you guys, I'm so excited. I'm so grateful that my Aunt Stephanie came and just dropped some knowledge on us. Listen, I love this podcast, and I hope that you guys were blessed. I hope you guys feel full. Listen, go get my book, y'all. Trauma, heal people. The work is in the healing. We got to do the work, you guys. We can't expect God to do everything. We got to partner with Him, all right? And number 3, make sure you guys like, subscribe. Make sure y'all go to my Facebook page and my Instagram page, everything. Until next time, you guys, The Valley.
Hey everyone, I'm so excited to announce to you all that my first book, Trauma, Healed People, Heal People. The Work is in the Healing is available right now on barnesandnobles.com and amazon.com. Go get you a copy now. What are you waiting for?